Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast to guide you home into your human journey here on Earth. My name is Vivian Gerard, and it is my delight to co-create with Gaia and share our messages from Source in this now moment. Here we go. Episode 498. It is Friday here in Cincinnati. It is the 1st of November. It is a beautiful, sunny, chilly day outside. And we are experiencing the energies of a new moon in Scorpio with a little leftover energy still of Mars doing something with Cancer, which is creating an extra level of tension and conflict. And Pluto in its final few weeks in Capricorn before it moves into Aquarius for the next 20 years. It is a time. It is quite a time. And there is a real dispute or battle between choosing fear and staying in the frequency of love. And I'm just seeing it play out in so many areas. And when I was meditating, trying to decide what is the direction to go for today's message, the words no man's land came through very clearly at the end of my meditation. So I had to Google, what does it mean when you say no man's land? And we're going to open by reading the definition from Google. Here's what it is. A disputed ground between the front lines or trenches of two opposing armies, or an indeterminate or undefined place or state, or the land or area that is unowned, uninhabited, or undesirable. I feel like those three definitions really show the difference between fear and love. And we're going to explore that today. We're going to pause for a little while and relax and breathe and be together and just ponder, like, what is actually happening right now on our planet, and look at it from a few different lenses. Not because I have the answer and I'm going to tell you the thing that's going to make it all make sense, or if I say this, you follow me or you unfollow me. It's not about that. It's an energy exchange of consciousness, me, you, all of us who choose to tune in, and then we sit with what comes forward in our own awareness, in the no man's land where no one has the right to inhabit or take over or control. And then we determine for ourselves individually, like, what's true? What feels true to me? How do I navigate from this awareness? How do I choose to act and talk? How do I choose to breathe? You know how there are some people, they come in a room, this huge, like, that big, heavy sigh of disgust or exhaustion or overwhelm with the world, with humanity. And they just bring all that energy into the space with them. Or there are some people who come in and their breath is just so high, so light, and you know they're not even in their body. There's no presence at all. And then there's the whole range in between. When we take a pause and we focus on our breathing and we check in with our body, what's actually happening in your body right now? The body is processing so much of the collective energy and your own individual match to that. What's happening in your body? Is your heart, is your blood pressure up and your heart beating really fast because the intensity is so much? Or are you getting headaches because there's so much that's wanting to download into your awareness in your head? You're just like, no, stop, no more. And so we're resisting whatever information wants to come in, and we create this bottleneck in our head. Maybe you've got a cold, or you've lost your voice, or you have a thing in your throat, a frog in your throat, they call it. There could be just so much, either that you're wanting to say that you're swallowing back, you're wanting to yell at the world, but you don't trust that once you start, you won't stop. So instead, you just bottleneck it all inside at your throat. And then it creates all this stuff, and then your ears get cloggy and popped. Or you're swallowing the energy for everyone around you because you can feel how overwhelmed and stressed out and angry they are. So you just bring it in. You bring it in through your ears, you breathe it in through your nose, you swallow it through your mouth, and it all just sits, all that energy in your throat. Your body is manifesting, metabolizing, internalizing, trying to process all the things that are happening energetically in your own awareness and your match to the collective awareness and what you're doing for other people. If you're an empath, oh my, this is a time for empaths to really learn how to separate, how to unravel from the collective energy, how to clear your space, whatever those practices are. How do you get rid of that which is not yours to do and just focus on your own clearing? I say this so many times in almost every space I'm in, take care of your energy first. When you are a clear portal, channel, conduit of energy, and you're in your own highest frequency, you are of the greatest service to everyone around you. Everyone. You being at your most alive, connected to your soul, in tune with your body, in harmony with your mind, when you're vibrating that frequency of pure alignment, it serves everybody around you. Carrying all their stuff, bringing all their energy in, trying to process it, having it get all clogged and stuck, that actually doesn't serve them or you. So now apparently is a time to really focus on that, because this is the message coming through. If you think of the idea of no man's land, we'll go back to that concept. To me, I picture the area that the two armies are fighting over, and it's, in, what was it called? Oh my gosh, my daughter would be so mad at me right now. The vampire movies. How am I blanking on the name of that? Anyway, that movie, there's that final scene where the good vampires and the bad vampires, or the Illuminati, they meet at the field, and there's this huge open area. It's the same thing in Harry Potter. I mean, in all the war movies. There's that one piece of land, and the two sides are ready to have battle, and they're on either side of it, and all the land in the center is empty. There's nobody in it, but you can see the opposing energies. I feel like no man's land is that. It's the area that's open and available, and who's going to go take it, or who's going to go play in it, or who's going to make the first move and to see what's happening there. If we're empathic, often we'll see that empty area and we'll feel everything that's happening, and we'll try to pull it into ourselves to make something happen, or to change the energy, or to help the other side out, or to process because we think we're supposed to process. And so we just gobble up all of that stuff and think that it's serving. It doesn't actually serve. And I believe what serves more is to visualize any of that collective energy that is fear-based, that doesn't need to be experienced by the collective anymore. You can just see it going down into the earth, dissolving. Let the earth transmute that. We as humans don't have to do it. Let the earth transmute the collective energy. Pull your power out of it, bring it back into you, and then invite that energy to be transmuted by God, by source, by the earth, by the universe, whatever you want to call forward. But you don't actually have to do it yourself. Or you can. I mean, this podcast is not telling you how to live your life. It's just showing you what the energies are. And I believe when we have awareness, we can choose how we want to engage with something. If our awareness is heightened and we are realizing more, then we are more empowered than before. We are in an intense, energetic, no man's land experience right now. Especially, well, it's funny. I would think it's just the United States, but I was talking to some of my friends who are in Europe right now, and they're like, yeah, if the election goes this way or this way, it's going to impact this country, which brings in this country, which does this to this country, and that comes back to my country. So it's all interconnected. And we're sitting in a no man's land, the world, as this election is about to move through. The results or lack of results or contested results are going to activate a series of events, whichever way it goes. It's like the two in the Illuminati, Twilight is the name of it, Twilight. In the vampire movie Twilight, when the two sides are just standing there, the moment one of them makes the first move, everything combusts, everything changes, and then there's this dynamic shifting energy that's volatile and fast and constantly ebbing and flowing as people are moving around and the magic is being transmitted everywhere. We're in the no man's land, this unknown, paused, uninhabited space right now. But there are going to be series of events that are going to happen over the next few weeks, over the next few months, that will activate ripples that go around the globe. There's no one person who can say exactly how it's going to go or who has the power to change it for everybody. I wrote about this in my book, One Day My Soul Journey in the Gaia Tribe. There's no one person who can do any of it. But there are people who make bold, big moves that then activate other bold, big moves for other people. And then everyone is activated to start to do something. I believe the more of us who are embodied in our own power, calm, fully aware that we're in the no man's land, we're present, we can see and feel and understand that energies are about to shift and come into play, and we're ready for that. Our intuition is heightened, but we're not taking on everyone else's intuition and knowledge, not intuition, everyone else's energy or gunk or fear. We're just in our own frequency, highest alignment, knowing that as we make choices from this place, as we move from this energy, as we embody and walk in this way, it serves everyone around us. And the more of us who are living this way, who are calm and present and focused, clear voices of truth, of positive, like the world is going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. Humanity is not ready to be extinct. The earth does not want to kill us. The earth is actually vibrant and healthy and well and supporting the evolution of consciousness in her own way. Everything is exactly as we all designed it. So now what do we do? How do we choose to act? The more of us holding this frequency and walking in this way, being this in as many places and conversations and community experiences as possible, we have the power to shift the collective energy. We have the power to calm those who are scared. Because really, I think that's the current that's running underneath so much of this anger and hype and projection and fighting. People are scared. They don't know what it means. They don't like not being in control. They don't understand what's actually happening. They can feel that things are shifting, but they can't see what it's shifting to and what that means for them. And so they're scared. What will happen? Will they be safe? Will they have what they need? Will the world come to an end? What is actually going to happen? When we choose to be embodied and to walk and breathe and talk and be a calm voice in a time of crazy, chaotic change, people know that vibration. They trust that vibration. The frequency I hold that I'm transmitting through this video, this audio to you, it's a frequency of truth. of knowing everything is good. It's okay. We're going to be fine. We're going to look back on this time. Didn't I say this last week? We're going to look back on this time with awe and wonder. And right now we're in it and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But when I know and I hold this knowing and I talk from this knowing and I move from this knowing, it is such a powerful frequency. And those who are afraid, when they listen to voices of fear and hyping up and fanning the flames, getting everybody stirred into more, when people tap into that frequency, it can stir them up to a certain point. But when they hear a frequency of truth, of calm, of knowing, of steadiness, it actually feels better. It feels safer. It feels steadier. It feels more powerful. It just feels better. And if people are scared, what they want is to feel better. So eventually, the voices that are fanning the flames are going to get old to those who want to feel better. And they will gravitate towards voices that are calm and steady and grounding, that empower people to listen to their own knowing, to be in their truth, to speak their truth, to breathe, to slow down. And then more and more people will gather around the voices that are about feeling better, feeling safe, feeling like you're going to be okay. Because that's really what people want. They want to be okay. I mean, they want to be amazing and fabulous and great. But to get from scared to all of that takes an in-between. And the in-between from scared to all of that is, I just want to feel better. I want to feel better and I want to feel safe. When I have that covered, then we'll start talking about fabulous. But right now, let me just get to neutral. Yeah, it's a wild time, but it's just fascinating. It's so amazing to watch what is happening from a place of co-creation. I led a 1-hour session on Monday in Insight Timer. Eventually I'll get these edited and then uploaded as tracks on Insight Timer, but it was so powerful. I was reading from Esther Hicks and Wayne Dyer's book, Co-Creating at Its Best. If you want a good frequency to tune into, find that. My friend Paul said that he found it as an Audible book, I think. But you can listen to the conversation between those two master teachers. Esther's channeling Abraham and answering the questions that Dwayne Dyer puts to Abraham. It's fascinating. It's powerful. But you can listen to that. And that level of conversation is from scared to better to fabulous. It's beyond fabulous. But it holds such a good frequency that it'll help you move from scared to better very quickly. Like, I can do my part and help you shift from fear to okay, but that conversation goes straight to the top. All of a sudden, you're at fabulous. And then it's your work to hold that frequency. And that's a challenge for us as humans. As souls, we got that. We are fabulous. We're all one. We come from fabulous. We go back to fabulous. Like, it's all so good. But when we choose to be human, we choose to do it because we know that there's learning in it. There's expansion. There's challenge. There's density and fear and doubt. And the collective, whoa, it makes it so much harder. And then you add in the astrology. You bring in new moons and Pluto and Mars and Cancer and all the things. And what? Scorpio? No wonder we're overwhelmed. No wonder we feel like we're right in the center of two opposing armies. It's going to be okay. Eventually, it's going to be so much better than okay. It's going to be incredible. And we will look back at this time and we will sit around the fire like Ram Dass talks about. We will sit around the fire and we will laugh and we'll go, oh my God, that moment in time, do you remember that? It was so intense. Do you remember those two characters that we put up to be president and then they battled out all of the shadow consciousness between different elements of humanity and they played it out on the big media? Do you remember? And all of us as souls will go, wow, those two were so brave to stand there in those costumes and to say those things and to pull in those partners and activate all of these awarenesses. Like those two, wow. But right now, we're so in the story, it's hard to pull ourselves out of the story. When I was awake this morning early, I was thinking about, or maybe it was when I was meditating, I had this idea of how to describe this. So I'll try and put words to it, and let's see if this is helpful. I was thinking about when you're a writer. So I like to write, and my aunt was just in town from South Africa, and she wrote a whole Christmas love story in 5 weeks while she was with my mom and dad. And it was so beautiful, and she was so excited. But she was describing some of the things that she was working through as an author. And what I was picturing in my head this morning is, imagine that you are the writer of this big story of your life. You're writing the characters of you, your parents, your siblings, the people you're going to be in relationship with, the people around you. Like you're writing the story. You're the one who's designing the whole entire story, and you're writing about it. But when you're writing about it, you realize, I don't know if I actually understand what it would feel like to have that person reject me as the character. I wonder what that character is actually feeling. Maybe I'll just meditate and visualize I can go into that character's life in the story and just experience it for a moment. And if I experience it for a moment, I'll be able to write about it more accurately. And so as the author, you dive into the story and you put on the character role for a moment, and you're living out the story as that character. And then you realize all the other things that the character was feeling, and how they were mad at this and disappointed about this past thing, and the story from their childhood came back into here, and they were hoping for the future, but it didn't go that way, so they had to reroute this direction. And all of a sudden you get these downloads of all these other aspects to the character. And so you pull back out as the author. And now you're like scribbling, writing. That was so amazing. You were able to get all of this extra information, and now you're so excited about the character and what's happening. But you realize, well, if you did that with that character, maybe you're missing some of the information about the character that one's in partnership with. Because you have to see it from both sides, or it's not really fully understanding what's happening. So you decide as the author, you're going to deep dive in again, but you're going to go into this other character to see, what does it feel like to them when the person they're in relationship with doesn't show up on time and doesn't do the thing they say they're going to do, and then they have to carry all the weight. And so you're in this character, and then you're remembering everything that they experienced in their childhood, and that they were hoping for the future, and that they were disappointed about, and you're just overwhelmed by all this extra information. And so you pull back out as the author. The story is so much better. You understand so much more. But it takes conscious effort to pull yourself out of being the character and remember that you're the author. Because when you're in the role of the character and you're feeling all of it, you're feeling all of it. Like you're in it. You're in it. And it's overwhelming, and there's so much, and it's so pulling yourself out to remember you're actually writing the story is a very challenging part of the process of writing. Just to mess with our minds a little bit, imagine there are 8 billion authors all writing stories all at the same time. And every single story is playing out here in this little tiny blue planet. Well, it's purple now. This little tiny planet that's called Gaia, Earth. 8 billion stories. Oh, and sometimes, because my aunt was just telling me about this, sometimes the authors get together. She's about to co-create with a whole group of authors, and they're each taking a different character from a team. And they're going to collaborate and partner, but each one of them is writing their own book, And all of the books are supposed to somehow weave together to create unity. Imagine, in 8 billion authors, souls, some of us, many of us, all of us, have partnered to overlap our stories, to bring in different elements and timing. Oh, wait, what if one of you got the timing wrong? What if you wrote the character to go this direction, but that character had a mind of its own once it was here, and it decided to go this direction, and now that messes up that one's story? Can you see what a shit show it is right now on this planet? These are the things I think of. I am fascinated by the journey of the soul in a human body, and I'm so aware of my own. I can laugh at myself in times of remembering I'm the writer, I'm the author, but there are many times where I'm so in character, so living this reality, this density, the feelings, the fear, the overwhelm, the astrology. Can we talk about the astrology for just one moment? Sidebar. I had the most incredible live conversation on Instagram this week with my friend Nicole. It was a 2-part series. Last week, we talked about her story, her beliefs. It was really beautiful. This week, we talked about Pluto. Pluto specifically as an energy, as it feels in Capricorn, as it feels in Aquarius, what that means for humanity. Nicole is an astrologer, a shaman, an incredibly intuitive being from some cosmically gorgeous place of wisdom. And she brought it all here as the author to help us, to guide us, to show us what astrology can do when we align with it. So she talked about all of this and then looked at my chart. And we had a very interesting conversation about the way that I have been experiencing Pluto as a human, what it has felt like over the last few years, really, for me, what it feels like currently as Pluto is really pressing on my birth, my natal chart, and what it means in the future, and how I'm meant to take this time, these lessons, the things I've been learning about, and share them. It was amazing. It was such an amazing conversation. So I will put the link to that in the description. You can also just go to my Instagram account, infinite.embodiment.in.gaia, and look on my reels, and you'll see there's a picture of the planet, and it says Pluto and Aquarius. That is the conversation that you want to listen to. It was fascinating. And then Nicole also does birth chart readings connected to Pluto right now, and I would highly suggest everybody contact her and get in the lineup to get that done. It's like she's giving you a roadmap of how to start stepping into the next 20 years, aligning with astrology. And if we're the writers of our own stories, the authors of our stories, it's like she's giving you the keywords, the SEO keywords that you need in order to be able to have structure to your story. That's not quite the right word. It's like she's giving you the glossary at the back of the book where you have some of the more difficult words explained. She's giving you the glossary to your story. That's what it's like. It's really amazing. So we sidebarred on astrology. Yeah. That's what I was saying. In my humanness, it's a little messy. I get really overwhelmed at times, and I forget that I am writing the story, and I am in character so deeply that I don't even know if what I'm doing is the right thing. And then I have these podcasts, and I have conversations like that with Nicole, and conversations with my husband and my friends, and things just give me perspective again. And that's really what I hope this podcast brings to you, is just these reminders to look at it differently, the reminders to pull back, to see things from the lens of the soul, choosing the human experience, and collaborating with Gaia, partnering with our planet, not being the victim to the individual experience with Gaia and the collective experience with Gaia. We are writing our stories. We are co-writing our stories. And when we remember that and align with that, it changes the story. We remember we're the one writing. We're the ones writing. And so we get to decide what the character does and which direction the character goes and which characters we pull in or don't pull in. And when the timing is right for those characters. Last week I talked about putting all the pieces in place. There are so many resources available to us all the time. All the time. And it's only more. There are more courses, more videos, more YouTube, more everything as people are sharing what they're doing and creating and refining their work. Me, I'm part of that. I am creating more videos. I'm going to keep creating more content. We're all creating more. And it takes discernment and trust in ourselves individually as the writer of our own story to choose which pieces go in place and when. And nobody can tell us what's right or wrong except for us. And sometimes we screw it up. Maybe the timing could have been better or different. Maybe we could have made a different choice and it would have taken us this way. Well, we didn't. We made this choice. So let's own our choices and then make them the right choices, like Esther Hicks says. Make it the right choice just by choosing, like, this is what I'm doing. This is the direction I'm going, and it's going to be the right thing because I chose it. So let's get to work. What are we going to do? If you choose a relationship, be in the relationship. Don't wish you were in another one. Be in the one you're in. If you're choosing a job, right now, that's the job you've chosen. Make it the best job. And then you'll see what the next offer is that comes from there. But if you're giving everything you have to the job you have right now, it's going to shift the energy, and you'll either love the job you're in or you're going to magnetize towards you the job that's the right job for you next. But being in this one and wishing for the other one isn't getting you anywhere except in the in-between no man's land. You are the one who chooses what your story is. So I had a huge activation last week. It just kept unfolding all week and then over the weekend. And this week has been about deliberate, conscious action. Choosing to be all in on my business. Choosing the platforms, the strategies that I'm going to be following. And then starting to do the work for each of them. To put the pieces in place consciously, deliberately. To me, if I'm looking at no man's land, that image I opened up with, where we have two opposing armies, what I've done in my book, my reality, is I know this no man's land exists. I am dispersing the armies, sending any armies away. I am grounding this beautiful open container of no man's land, pure potential, untapped, unused, uninhabited land. No man's land. Nobody owns it. It is no man or woman or anyone's land. It is open, available. I am choosing to step into this pure potentiality. I'm inhabiting that space in my reality. And I'm going to write into existence what I desire. I'm going to create the reality that I choose because I'm the writer of my story. And so sometimes my human is like, you're never going to get it all done. Okay, you did 5 steps today, but there were like 500 steps to get done. When are you going to do the other 495? And my job is to calm my mind and go, today was a good day. I got 5 steps done, and they were big steps. They were important steps, and they're moving me in the right direction. And I'm going to show back up tomorrow, and I'll do some more steps. And then the next day I might take a nap because I'm really tired because I've done 10 steps today or in the last 2 days. And I've got this. And I'm just going to keep moving my way forward. And what happens when we do that is we get better and better and better. Remember I said there's the I'm scared to I'm better to I'm doing great to I'm fabulous? When we move from I'm scared, which I've been in off and on for a long time, and we're like, I'm okay. Actually, I'm okay and I'm good. And I'm getting better. And as I get better and better and better, eventually, all the time I'm going to be fabulous. And that's where I'm going. I actually feel like I need to change that a little bit. I have lots of moments of feeling and being fabulous. I live a very good life. I spend a lot of my time in fabulous. But in my business work life, there's lots of room for growth. And so fabulous is where I'm going. Scared is going away. Good is okay, and good is where I'm going to be playing on my way to fabulous. Yeah, that feels much better in my system. So that's what's going on over here. It's a good time, and I don't know how next week will go. I don't believe we're going to have an answer from the elections. I believe it's going to be an ongoing discussion and debate for a while. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I have the sense that there will be some post-election discussions about if it's true or not, if it's right or not, if we're going to uphold it or not. I'm not sure how that's going to go. We'll see. But it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. New moon in Scorpio today. If you are looking for guidance, what am I doing? There's an, I had to switch gears. My head was all the way in the elections for a moment. Let's pull back to new moon in Scorpio. We have a few days until that next phase of the ripples of activation happen. For the new moon in Scorpio, I have a meditation that is already uploaded and available. It is on Insight Timer, so you can listen to that either for free if you have the app, or if you don't have the app, you might have to pay for the app. Well worth it, so well worth it. So that link will be in the description below. I also have a tarot reading I'm going to do next, which I will be uploading to a private webpage on my website. That is available with access to our New Moon Circle for $44, and that is next week on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you have always wanted to just sit in a circle space with me and actually have me see you or talk to you directly because we haven't connected in real time, you've been watching me for a while, maybe listening to my voice, but you're like, I would like Viv to see me. I would like Viv to know who I am because I've been in her field for a while and she doesn't know me yet. That's a great way to do it. It's $44. It's an easy exchange for a dinner out. Like, that's what it costs now to go out to dinner. So skip one dinner out and come hang out in a new moon circle with us. What do we do there? It's on Zoom. We talk. We share what's happening in our lives. We set intentions for the new moon cycle that is opening. We release fear. We calibrate to a really beautiful frequency together. And usually it's an hour. If there's a bigger group, we'll go a little over. And we write down our intentions. I think writing is such an important part of the manifestation process. And so I write and draw pictures on a big piece of paper, and then 3 days after that circle, well, probably that next day because the new moon is now and the circle's a few days later, I burn that and release it to the stars, and we do the whole process again at the next new moon. So try that out. You get the circle, the meditation, and the tarot reading for $44, plus all the other new moon in Scorpio content that I've ever created over the last 5 or 6 years. It's all on that one page for Scorpio. It's a great way to connect with me, my work, my community, the way that I am. And there was something else I was going to tell you. The Live with Nicole. So I will make sure to get that up. Yeah, and if you need more support, I offer sessions. There's a lot of wisdom that flows through from your soul to you through me. And I'm a very clear conduit for that energy exchange. So if you know that you need support or you need validation, or it's not even that you need it, like you desire it, because it would feel good during these turbulent times, then set up a session. I have, I think, 11 booked or 11 open for November. There's a lot going on in November. If you have not yet listened to or watched, what is Astro Butterfly? I guess you would read her article, not watch or listen. Yeah, I don't think she does any videos. Astro Butterfly has a monthly forecast, and she sends it by email. She also posts it on her Instagram, and she has it on her website. So I would take a moment and look at the astrology for November. There's a lot that is moving, and I believe when we have information about that, when we have the forecast, we can understand what's happening and mentally prepare for it, or emotionally adjust more easily as it's happening, because we realize the context of the astrology. It's like when you're writing a story, the astrology to me would be the environment, the setting in which the story is taking place. If you know the structure of the setting, you're able to move the characters in your story with more confidence, with more accuracy of what most serves. And astrology is giving us that lens, that support right now. So take a little time, read through what she says. It's a big month. It is a big month, and you bring in the elections, it makes it more. So we've got this. We've got this. And it's a lot. So I understand. Yeah, meditate, breathe, get outside in nature, take a nap, hug the people you love, have them hug you, join the New Moon Circle next week. Like, you've got this. You've got this. Okay. So much love to you. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.